Greetings, YouTubers and those of you who have stumbled upon my channel. Once again, I am LexTalionis, and this is part 2 of my lecture series. The topic today is sex. I was delighted to find that there had already been someone else who made a video about this topic, and in a not-so-immature fashion. This video also touches on the topic of marriage, which I will also get into later in my lecture series. But for now, the topic is sex. I have observed that society is more open to sexual promiscuity. Of course, this is not a shock to anyone, nor should it be. Gone are the days when there was a stigma attached to sexual intercourse outside of marriage, and although that ideology may linger, its foothold has indeed given out. However, I'm making this video to show that one does not need a religious reason for waiting to have sex or having sex with only one person. In order to make my point, I'll first have to examine the varying degrees of human physical interpersonal interaction, or physical contact for brevity purposes. I have found that there are 4 levels of physical contact, some with sub-levels, but for now, I'm only focusing on the main 4. Each of these levels have certain amounts of exclusivity applied to them, and they get more exclusive as you ascend. Before I begin, I will have you to understand that for the sake of this video, I will speak in generality, and I understand that each person is different and may not adhere to what I'm about to present. I myself do not adhere to this strictly, but this is a common blueprint and one that I'm certain many will agree with. Moving on. The first level of physical contact is the handshake. The handshake is the most common form of physical contact. The exclusivity level of this is 0%. When meeting someone for the first time, on average, most people will offer them a handshake. A handshake is a low form of physical contact, and one that has no scrutiny on it whatsoever. There is no preface for receiving or giving a handshake. All one needs to do is simply offer their hand. A handshake can mean several things given the context of the situation. It can mean an agreement has been made, a friendship has been born, a respect imparted on behalf of the shaker, or it can simply mean hello. When a handshake is denied, it almost always means disrespect. The variants of the handshake include the forearm grip, the fist bump, the pound, the bro grip, and my personal favorite, the high five. The second level of physical contact is the hug. The hug is more exclusive than a handshake. When meeting someone for the first time, we are more likely to offer them a handshake than we are a hug. Hugs, on average, are reserved for people we are more familiar and comfortable with. Friends and family are usually the recipients of hugs. The preface for receiving or giving a hug is the level of familiarity exchanged by both parties. Example: have you ever attempted to hug someone only for them to recoil away from you? If so, then the level of familiarity was not mutually understood. Like a handshake, a hug can mean several things, depending on the situation. A friendly greeting to someone you care about. A friendship has been re-established after a trial. A romance could be blooming, or a bond is forming. Denial of a hug almost always means discomfort on the part of the one being hugged. The variants of a hug include the modified bro grip and the chest bump, which is very fun to observe and even more fun to participate in. The third level of physical contact is the kiss. For the purpose of this video, I'm talking about a kiss in a romantic sense. I have a friend who once gave me this quote, and I'll restate it. You shake hands with associates. You hug your friends and family. Kiss your girlfriend and have sex with your wife. A kiss on the lips is a very solid dividing line between friends and romantic interests. Imagine, if you will, that you are walking in the mall with your romantic interests, and they break away from you, run up to another person, and kiss them in the same fashion they kiss you. When they return to you and you inquire about their relationship with that person, and they reveal to you that that person was a complete stranger to them, I would imagine that you would be unnerved by this, and rightfully so, because the kiss establishes a difference between you and everyone else. A kiss can mean many things depending on the situation, as always. Denial of a kiss means discomfort. The variants of the kiss include a kiss on the cheek for friends, a kiss on the hands, a gentlemanly gesture, a peck on the lips between friends, and sometimes used as a brief goodbye between lovers. The fourth, and most exclusive level of physical contact is sex. Sex is the apex of physical intimacy, as all others pale in comparison. Sex is most enjoyable between those who share a deep and profound trust and comfort. Because of this, the exclusivity of sex is limited to one person. Most people have sex with one person at a time, and there are others who have sex with multiple partners at once. Aside from how enjoyable those experiences may be, I hold to the position that sex should be limited to one-on-one encounters with one person. This is because the limitation of sexual intercourse holds an array of benefits for humanity. Now is the time for me to provide examples. Example 1. STDs. The spread of STDs would be limited to a very small handful of people who have them. Limiting sexual encounters would ensure that STDs do not spread to other parties. This would make sexual intercourse much more enjoyable without having to be tested after an encounter, because you would know the person you're having sex with is clean. Example 2. Progeny. It is no mystery that progeny has become an issue in this country, with exploitive television shows displaying females, often minorities, who are unable to identify the father of their child. If sexual encounters were limited, the aspect of unknown fathers would not be an issue, as the mothers would easily be able to identify them. Despite how one may feel about sex, sex's primary function is reproduction. Sex is a mechanical process which is made to prolong humanity, and the urge to have sex is naturally inherent within us. Despite being taught about sex's primary function, many use it as a relational act meant to be performed with a romantic interest. While this has become common practice, not many are willing to have sex for reproductive purposes. I find this somewhat alarming because the true nature of sex has now become an issue. Teenagers who find themselves pregnant unwillingly become shocked and horrified that such a thing would occur despite using all proper caution. This places them in a situation they did not desire and could possibly put a strain on the relationship where originally there was none. I think that before a couple engages in sexual intercourse, they should discuss these topics beforehand and prepare themselves for any outcome. If you are unable to afford contraception, I would recommend that you refrain from sexual activity until you are able to do so. If you and your partner are not of like mind on this topic, then you should refrain from sexual activity until you have discussed intentions. If you are unable to deal with a pregnancy, or unable to discuss your sexual past with your parents in light of an emergency, then you should refrain. Sex is not a topic to be taken lightly, but it is a topic and action to be enjoyed. But it cannot be fully enjoyed when the urge to have sex gets the best of our rationality to have sex within the right circumstances. There are many opinions on what those right circumstances are, but the most practical and logical is to wait until you are fully able to deal with the responsibilities that come with sexual intercourse. As always, I am interested to hear your thoughts on this topic and many others. If you wish to respond, please post a response video. And once again, thank you for watching.